Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't uploaded in a long time. I got kind of backed up with school because we did get back up. We didn't have school for like 2 weeks, and that kind of threw me off schedule. So I kind of just focused in school in a way. And well, yeah, if you're new here, my name's Teresa. I go to nursing school here in Texas. I currently finished my 3rd semester of nursing school, so I will be starting my 4th semester out of 5 semesters. My program is 5 semesters. I will be beginning my 4th semester in August, which is supposed to be the hardest semester of my program. So I don't know how to feel about that. But anyways, I wanted to make this video of how I study for nursing school today. I get that asked a lot. I do want to say that everyone is completely different. We all learn a different way. So I don't know what I do will work for you. But yeah, so that's what I will be doing today. I hope you guys like it. I hope my tips help you guys. And so before I begin the video, I did want to show you guys these shoes that I just got recently. I've been wearing them to work lately because I've just been working. These are it, like your typical white nurse shoes. They're so cute. They have like that leathery texture, you know. So like if they get dirty, you know, it's not that hard to clean them. That's what I meant, clean them. But yeah, I've been wearing them to work. They're like so nice and simple and cute. I've been wearing my fixed scrubs and they look so cute with them. But yeah, they're by Hawkwell, and I just wanted to tell you, they're really comfortable. They're like, they have like, I don't know how to call it, like, I don't know how to explain if you can see like the inside, but like the inside's kind of like, I don't know how to explain like the texture of what's inside, like the padding, but it makes you feel like you're literally not walking on anything. Like they're comfortable. So yeah, just wanted to show you them. Okay, so I want to begin by saying the importance of pre-reading before lecture. I didn't get a chance to do this first semester because it was kind of different, but I did begin to pre-read on my 2nd semester, and I did do it again my 3rd semester, and I did see a big difference. Like I feel like pre-reading, I'm not saying like once you go to lecture you have to know like everything at the top of your head or something. No, I usually pre-read before lecture. So if you know, usually we get a syllabus and we have like what each week will like what concept will be discussed each week. So usually the week before lecture I begin to pre-read. When I pre-read, it's just kind of like a, how do I say it, like skimming through the chapter to know like what is going to be discussed in lecture. And also while I pre-read, I make my own notes. I've tried my best to just not do notes because it does take a very long time, like my own notes, because we do get a lot of notes sent from like previous semesters, and they really do help a lot. But I find myself always still like either adding on to those notes or making my own notes. So either like I add to those while I'm reading the chapter, or I just make my own notes. So basically that's what I do. So when I go into lecture, I already have my notes done for whatever it's going to be discussed that day. And it really does help because when they're teaching, you're not kind of lost. You have like a understanding of what the teacher or professor is going over. And plus, on top of me having my own notes already done, I can highlight while in lecture. So like if the professor like really like repeated something like 3-4 times, that means it's important. So I would highlight with like a certain color, or if they added information, I would write it in my notes like with a colored pen to make sure, like, and use that same color pen like for whatever the professor added. So when I go back and review my notes, I like have any extra information the professor said, and I know like the important points that they discussed or repeated. So that's why I really like pre-reading, especially like the part of having my notes already done when lecture starts. This will be done before lecture. I would have PowerPoint up for that week. I would have the book up. I use the online ebook, and then I would always have a Word document to start my notes. These are already done because you know, I already did it. I took maternity and peds this semester, so yeah, I'll be showing you how what I would do before lecture, during lecture, and then after lecture. Okay. Another thing I wanted to add is that whenever I pre-read, I do always open up the PowerPoints that my professor adds before, and then I basically use that to guide my notes. So whatever's on the PowerPoint, and when I go in the chapter, I look for that specific information that my professor has either put like on the objectives for this chapter or in the PowerPoint. So I'm not telling you, I don't think reading the entire book or entire chapter works. That's just too much information. So what I focus is on the objectives that my professor posts and then the PowerPoint. So that's what I use to guide how I make my notes for each chapter. For example, okay, here's the PowerPoint. So here's the signs of labor, true or labor versus false labor. So then I would go into the book and it was already all highlighted. You know, here are the signs of labor, and I did see that, you know, like cervical changes, lightning. So I go ahead and read that. Sorry, it's all highlighted. And that's how I begin my notes. So it's all these signs of labor. So that's pretty much what I do. You see how here is true labor versus false labor because that's something they had here. And that's basically how I guide my notes based on what, like, the PowerPoints are not always gonna have everything you need. Or like not all the information, because you know, like everything is kind of condensed. So then like the little information from there, I would go on the book, read it, and then always have my little document on the side to make my own notes. And that's how I would that's how I make my notes. I always have pictures that look important. But yeah, this is what I would do before lecture. I would say when you're taking your prereqs or basics, I don't know how everybody calls them, I would say that you might be able to, like, you know, professors post PowerPoints and you might just study that and you're able to go off of that. In nursing school, you can't do that. I mean, there might be like, I mean, I don't know how programs are, but I know my program, the PowerPoints, they don't have a lot of information. And, you know, when the test comes, well, if you only went based off the PowerPoints, you're not gonna know all the information. So so that's why I use the PowerPoint with the condensed information to guide me when I'm pre-reading the chapter, making my notes. That way I don't read the entire chapter, because, you know, some chapters are like 60 pages long or more. And in nursing school, you have care plans, you have assignments, you have to go to clinic, 12-hour clinicals, you have to do all this stuff besides studying. So, you know, you can't really condense all that information and know everything word for word in the chapter. So knowing what's important based off what your professor puts, like I said, my professor for this semester, my professors put up objectives and PowerPoints before lecture, so that actually helped me. So, you know, going in when pre-reading and making my notes, I already kind of knew like where to focus rather than reading the entire chapter. Okay, So then after lecture came, okay, so so I attended lecture, you know, and then every time I would have already my notes. I already have my notes printed and everything when it's time for lecture. So that way, like I said, I use a highlighter, like let's say a green highlighter would mean the professor like really talked about this. She like repeated it 3-4 times. So when they repeat it, it means it's important. So then I would highlight my notes, you know, that color. Or if she said any extra information that was important, then I would write it in a different color pen. So, you know, when I referred back and reviewed my notes, because after lecture, I try to review my notes like 2 or 3 times before the test. So I will, when reviewing my notes, I would be like, oh, okay, like this is highlighted this type of color. So that means the professor like really emphasized in this. Or the color pen, like, oh, she said this additional information, so I need to know this. That's exactly what I would do during lecture. Same notes that I showed you guys. I know it's all highlighted. I don't know. I kind of just highlight everything in a way. You know, in nursing school, we just highlight everything because everything's important in a way. But anyway, so like if it was orange, I remember that I would use orange for anything the professor would keep repeating. And then you see on my little pink pen, that's what like any extra information that the professor would say. So yeah, orange always meant like they said it a lot. And then like I said, in the pen, it'll mean like that they added additional information. But yeah, so I know I know I highlight everything on my notes. I don't know, I color code. Like a title will be a color, like word definitions would be another color. Like I just like to code my paper, so which is why there's like a lot of highlighting. But I do like I said, blue. Most of the time I use blue for titles, like pink for like definitions. What else? Let me look. And like I said, the orange was always for something the professor kept repeating. But yeah, I know I highlight all my notes. But so yeah, that was what I did during lecture. Well, like the highlighting and adding information. Then I would go back and color code, like I said, the title, definitions, anything like that. So only in lecture I would use orange, the orange highlighter, and pink for whatever the professor said. And then after lecture, I always read them again, and that's when all the extra highlighting comes in. But like I said, I do try to read my notes 2 or 3 times before the test. I'm not saying to just read once, because I don't think that will really stick with you the first time you read. So I always review my notes 2 or 3 times before the test. So now, let's say, okay, so I pre-read, make my notes, go to lecture, like, you know, see what the professor teaches, and then, like I said, reread my notes 2 or 3 times before the test. Now, let's say it's about like the test is like next week or 2 or 3 days. So once this time comes, what I do additional resources, because I already read my notes like 100 million times. Not that much, but you know, I already read my notes a couple times. I know the information. So now it's time to quiz yourself. My program always offers practice questions from the textbook, which is what I would use to quiz myself. And then if I get like something wrong, like a question wrong, then I know to go back and read that, because I still don't have a clear understanding of it. So that's what I would do after, you know. I think the only way you will know if you know the actual information is quizzing yourself. So yeah, the practice questions that my program offers all the time for, like I said, for each semester, the textbook, we get a code with practice questions. So that's what I would do closer to the test. And like I said, whatever questions I would get wrong, I go back and read about it, try to understand it better. And then another resource that I use is Register RN and Kathy Parks. You know, those are the two go-to. I actually, yeah, I was gonna say I actually use something else, but no. I tried to use Picmonic, but I ended up not using it. Y'all let me know if it's good. I'm actually thinking about getting Simple Nursing, so if you could please comment how Simple Nursing is, because I'm really like debating whether I should get that or not. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would do closer to the test. Practice questions, Register RN, Kathy Parks. I mean, I think for maternity and all of that, I think Kathy Parks was really good, because for Register RN, she didn't really have a lot. I know for peds, like for the milestones, oh, she had like the best videos, and she would tell you like what you needed to know, like more importantly. And then yeah, so see, it will personalize your quiz. So I put whatever chapter, you can add more, but yeah, these are like the questions, practice questions that would really help me test my knowledge and see what I know and what I don't know, so I could go back before the test and make sure I had it down if I got any questions wrong. And then what I like about this, and then questions usually give you a rational, so that's what I would use also to review whatever questions I got wrong. So I would read the rational, and it like this particular what's it called, like quiz thing, I don't know how to call it, but this particular one will like literally give you a rational for like each answer, like, okay, why is this wrong, why is this answer wrong, why is this answer wrong, and then why is the actual answer, correct answer, right? So it will explain to you. So I would read the rational and then go back to my notes. So yeah. And lastly, you know, the go-to, y'all know I be using this for everything. I would just look up on the, what's it called, the table of contents or the index. I would just look up like what I was learning for this test. If it was like I said, there's signs of labor or like postpartum, whatever it was, I would look it up in the book and read about it. Y'all know this is like the go-to. It has everything you need to know. So I also use this close to the test, so I could just read what that one said. So yeah, closer to the test, I just mainly use resources. You know, before, at the beginning for the test, like when I'm first studying, obviously I'm just learning the information, so I'm just reading my notes, making sure I understand it. And then closer to the date of the test, I start doing practice questions, watching Kathy Parks, Register RN, and my NCLEX book. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I do. I know everyone's different. I don't know if this will actually be helpful for anyone, or I don't know, but I do want to say that when you're studying, like what I always say, it's not about memorizing at all. Nursing school is not about memorizing, because you actually have to know this information when you're taking care of someone. And then, like I said, the NCLEX test, once you go to the NCLEX test, the questions are critical thinking. When you're taking your unit tests for each semester, everything's critical thinking. So memorization won't get you off. For pharmacology, it will. You know, pharmacology is mainly memorization, but I know for like med-surg and all these other classes, you actually have to understand the information. It's not just memorizing. So that's like why I do the practice questions, because the practice questions test you. Like, do you actually understand this information? Do you actually know this? Because the tests are not about memorization. They're gonna be like critical thinking. So you actually have to know the information and understand it, rather than just memorize everything. So yeah, I hope that, I don't know if this actually is gonna help anyone, but this is what I do, or at least what I did for, I know I did this too for second and third semester. I did this exact same thing. I hope it continues to work for the 4th semester because that's our hardest semester of my program. But yeah, this is what I do to study in nursing school. I really hope it helps, or at least gives you like a little like how do I say it, a little tip of how to go off your study. Because reading the book, I literally opened that book once for each lecture. Like before lecture, I open my book only to make my notes, and that's it. I never look back on that book because it's just too much information. That book has like too much information, so I literally only open that book before lecture. After lecture, I don't anymore. Like I already have my notes condensed and it has all my important information, so I don't need anything else. I don't open that book again. It's too much. But there is a lot of other resources. I don't know, maybe like I said, Picmonic, Simple Nursing. I really want to try it, but I want to know your opinion on it. So please, if you could comment or something, your opinion. I know there's Osmosis. Whatever else is there? Programs. That's all I could think about right now. But yeah, additional resources always help a lot. And especially, like I said, closer to the test. So yeah, I hope this helps you guys. Let me know what you guys do. There's people that do different. Some people just watch videos. I know one person that just watches videos, like Kathy or Register RN, and they like are set. I can't do that though. But yeah, let me know what you guys do to study. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to follow my Instagram, and yeah.